mannequin. She always makes me breathless and panicking. There's nothing I can do but stay out of sight. With every step she makes my stomach feel uneasy. She says my name and my thoughts get crazy. There's nothing I want more than this tonight. Lips the color of poison dot frog. Eyes the blue of my deepest fantasies. She's like a parrot, scaling away. She's sweet like antifreeze. She's got this voice that moves down from the hill, and it descends to 95 and kills. You know I die for a word from those lips. There is no alignment for other agendas, and we always decided someone to defend us. But it all fades away when she wiggles those hips. Lips the color of a poison dot frog. Eyes the blue of my deepest fantasies. She's like a train wreck, stealing away. She's like antifreeze. She is the one who inhabits my dreams. You can tell by the blood in its dreams. But all in all, you know I've got no regrets. I may be ruined, but she's made it an art. And when she sees me, I'm like something hard. And she might find out I don't second guess.
I have no idea if this is working correctly or not. I will find out. If I look on my, it says I'm not. But I have a second one that is. Okay, cool. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. But it's, theoretically doing stuff. All right, I see things. Weird. I don't know what the hell's going on. According to this, my stream health is not awesome. What am I doing for... Sorry, for anyone that's watching right now, this is my first time using brand new software, and clearly I am just killing it. It knows that I'm plugged in. Yeah, okay. Output... Good bit rate. All right, we're just gonna go with it, and hopefully now it says it's an excellent connection. Okay. Hi, it's me, Big Ugly Jim. Doing a live stream. Sugar Shameless. Hey, how are you, sweetheart? It's good to see you. Thank you for joining me. And I see Shithead Dave, my patron. And I see I can't type, but we're going to go with it. I totally stoked to be doing this. This is stepping outside of my usual comfort zone, of course, because why wouldn't I? Yeah. So I decided that I would want to try this out. My goal here is, in the long run, I don't need these in right now. That's just a thing. My goal is that in the long run, I can... what am I talking about? Fuck. Oh, see, this is what happens. I got all distracted. My goal is that I want to do some charitable fundraising things, particularly for my favorite local charity, which is the Bear Clan Patrol YYC. They do amazing work supporting the unhoused people in our city, and I want to support them in every way I can. So I started poking around on like how would I go about doing that, and I needed a tip thing. Then I found out that I didn't know half of what I was doing. I was using regular OBS instead of Streamlabs OBS, so it's been a whole thing. But I'm learning, and I got my my Marvel Civil War coffee cup with Captain America and Iron Man. So that's good. Normally I drink beer when I'm live casting, and I do have one handy should the mood take me, but I thought a warm beverage might be a good idea. Interestingly, I'm seeing YouTube chat in YouTube or in my thing over here, but not on my thing over here, which is supposed to amalgamate all the bits and pieces. I don't know what the fuck is happening. That probably also means I'm not going to see Twitch chat. We'll find out together. There's a multi-stream button. I wonder if that works. No, I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay if I use the multi-stream button. We'll find out. Again, all a learning curve for me. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm I'm doing something. Just gonna click on my channel on Twitch. I've had exactly 7 seconds of being on Twitch, so I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, it looks like it's live too. All right, so I'm just gonna go with it. Yeah, so the big thing is I wanna support the Bear Clan Patrol, and I wanna do as much as I can to help them and make them happy and whole and stuff. I want to check this one thing here with my restream tweet here, or my chat, because I'm not getting YouTube, and I feel my Twitch handle is actually a Big Ugly Jim. So that's they didn't have Big Ugly Jim; it was already taken. So I was like, well, I guess I'm a Big Ugly Jim. It works. It works for me. That was Bright Sparkling Undergarments from Discord, where I also have chat happening. I have like chat happening in all kinds of places. I'll try and keep up on everything. First thing I wanted to do is just say it is a beautiful, balmy, freezing fucking day here in Calgary. And the weather here has been all over the map, up, down, sideways, crazy. I'm not a fan of that, so I think that weather needs to behave a little bit better. That's just how I feel. The reason I'm not a fan is actually because I get massive. My Twitch handle is a Big Ugly Jim. So yeah, I get massive migraines and TMJ all up in here, which when I was a kid, we didn't know what the cause was, and the doctor prescribed me some codeine, these pills called Paraffin Forte C8. One sec. So the doctor prescribed me this Paraffin Forte C8 stuff, which was super powerful, potent, crazy magic. And it worked in the beginning. It made it so that I wasn't in super pain. And not being in super pain, I was a big fan of. But then eventually you start to build up a tolerance for codeine, and you start to realize that in fact, you're not so much doing pain management as you are making the pain funny. So I quit doing that. I decided I was I was worried about being addicted. I was worried about all this stuff. So I stopped all pills altogether. Made a big thing. And my dad one day was like, son, you're in a lot of pain. Why don't you do something about it? Take some good good pills, sinus pills. And I took sinus pills, and it went away. And it was the first time I've ever had that. And it's weird because I don't feel stuffed up. I don't have a runny nose. I don't have anything. But I took sinus pills this morning, and I can manage my life. So by all means, my public service message to you: if you are one of the many Albertans that suffer from these bitch ass headaches, try pills. Try sinus pills. They make my life a lot easier. How's everyone doing? I see I've got I Am Canadian, who I believe is also Bright Sparkling Undergarments from my Discord. I got Shithead Dave, Sugar Shameless, and of course me, Big Ugly Jim. There are more people. There's 9 viewers altogether, which is a complete awesome thank you guys for watching. I'm going to check one thing real quick. I just want to see if my chat box from Discord has like everything. YouTube or Twitch is behind. Yeah, well, I'm streaming everywhere right now. It's the first time I've done that, so it's probably just one of those services is stupid and dumb jerks. Yeah, I don't know. I'll keep my eye on this because I'm not seeing all of the things that I'm seeing on the right on my screen. So if the Discord chat win works, then sweet. I wonder if I can refresh it. I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna do my thing. Do a time check. Tell us when you see this. It's 12:11. My time currently is 12:12. there's always a bit of a lag between when I see and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, we're moving at the speed of business right now. The old Tellus quote. Yeah, so I'm here. I'm live streaming. I have very little plan in terms of what I actually want to do, but we'll figure that out. I did have some ideas. What the fuck is happening here? I'm clicking on things and stuff's scrolling again. Brand new system. Bear with me. I'm trying. All right, so my basic game plan is I want to chat with you guys, and we'll kind of go from there. If there's things that come up that we want to, I want to ramble about or whatever, that's cool. I wrote out a bunch of like things I could talk about, just in case people are not engaged or whatever. But I feel like I've got some of my most engaged people's actually. I'd say the three of you: Sugar Shameless, Shithead Dave, and Bright Sparkly Undergarments are definitely the people who most engage with me in general on the wild world of these when I do live stream stuff. So you guys are all here, and I love you. BSU. I don't know what BSU means. Brigham Young University? I don't know. We'll go with it. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, just as a thing, vaccinations are now open for people who are over 40. That includes me, AstraZeneca. One thing that I want to make a promise to you right now is that I will not do. I will not make stupid Wi-Fi jokes after I get my vaccination. Yes, BSU, Bright Sparkling Undergarments. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I keep seeing these on my Facebook feed. Everyone's sharing like, oh yeah, I got my first dose of the vaccine and our Wi-Fi is better. And it was cute the first time. Is not the first time. So I will not do that. I will instead probably brag about my incredible ability to compete with the birds now, because birds, of course, are a government conspiracy. I don't know. We'll see. Their abbreviated name for your ease. Yes, I totally got it now. I'm with it. I got some hair today. Like, I guess it's not too bad, but I just hopped out of the shower. What can I say? I wanted to be all squeaky clean. And I'm wearing my favorite Miles Davis, well, my only Miles Davis shirt, but my favorite Miles Davis shirt from Birth of the Cool. I absolutely love Miles Davis's music. I remember once I went into a record store in Vancouver. I was there visiting, and I went into this record store, and this amazing music was playing over the speakers. And I didn't recognize that it was Miles Davis. I'd heard mostly more of the Bitches Brew and that kind of, the hard bop and the really aggressive funk and stuff. And this was just beautiful, gorgeous, sedate, lovely music. And I was like, oh my God. And I walked up to the guy behind the counter and I was like, what's playing right now? Like, I want this. And the guy looks at me and he's like, this is Miles Davis. As if like I needed to have an encyclopedic knowledge of every single Miles Davis thing. So he was a dink. And fuck that guy. But the album was kind of blue. It definitely became my favorite Miles Davis album. I talked with a buddy of mine who, Greg, used to be the guy from Distortion or not Distortion, but Distillery that did sound, and he was very knowledgeable about it. When I told him I loved that album, he was like, "Oh my God, dude, modal jazz is a thing. You are about to be blown away." And he introduced me to like Esbjorn's Svensson Trio and a bunch of other stuff, and it's so Miles is like, you may look at me and not think there's a Miles Davis fan. Huge Miles Davis fan. Music shaming is a thing, apparently. Oh, absolutely. Music shaming, and I've been guilty of that so many times. I would love to tell you that I was better than that. Definitely not better than that. When I was getting into the whole, putting on shows and being in a band, I would regularly tease people, not like make fun of their band or make fun of, but I would definitely tease people about their taste in music. And then it wasn't until I was dating Karina, and she really liked Chevelle. And I used to ride her about that all the time. I don't think I've even listened to Chevelle. They just have a terrible name. And she was like, dude, I'm actually worthwhile as a human being. You need to stop. And I hadn't even considered the fact that I was actually being a giant jerk. So I totally, stopped. You've discovered dub recently, as in like dub music, like sort of the reggae ska-ish dub. Do I fuck with Lingus? Do you mean Mingus, Charles Mingus? Because I love me some Charles Mingus. Mingus definitely. But I don't know Lingus. Maybe that's a typo. And Sugar shames her kids for listening to mumble rap. Put a stop to it right quick. You know what? That was a hard one for me when Seth moved in with me. He, like, between mumble rap and that Alexander Hamilton, I was just like at my wit's end because I was so used to just listening to like whatever music I wanted to. And then there's like Alexander Hamilton. He went to the Vatican. Fuck right off. Drove me nuts. What's funny is when they play tunes from the 90s or gangster rap and I know all the words and they freak out. Yes, I totally agree with that. I don't know why my chat window is shitty. I'm going to just take a look and see if that's something I can quickly address. It's probably not. I'm probably not smart enough. If I bring up the chat window from Discord, it just says loading. So I guess we're gonna go with it. I've got chat on the sidebar here that says all of the things that are happening, and I've got chat on another thing that says all of the things that are happening. So I should be okay. I will figure out eventually how to do all the bits and pieces to get your chat stuff right there. But for now, if you're not in YouTube, I think the stuff that we're seeing on the right is all not YouTube stuff. So somehow I haven't got that synced up. It's probably a big dumb user error. Lingus Snarky Puppy album. I've never heard it. Frank Zappa level composition. Dub is phenomenal. There's an album a buddy of mine turned me on to a long time ago, by a group called Easy Star All Stars. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's called Dub Side of the Moon, and it is literally the album Dark Side of the Moon, done by a whole pile of really amazing, mostly dub music. Well, I guess all dub musicians, and all covered super fun. Like there is, the beginning of Money by Pink Floyd is the cash register noises and all the sort of associated clatter. They do that, but they do it with like Zippo sound and pulling on a water bong and like inhaling and coughing, and it's just absolutely amazing. You were a raver, you enjoyed EDM. Oh, Sugar, that's okay. No one's judging you. I hated EDM for the longest time. And then working at Distillery, the second distillery, we would have these gigantic raves every now and then, or not raves, but EDM shows, which we always called wub wub nights because it was all wub 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 wub, and it was so annoying. And then as time went on, I got to a point where I didn't mind the music at all, and eventually, by the time Distortion was having them, I could actually enjoy the night. And it's literally because my old ass ears were like, this isn't music. When I was a boy, we only played with the harmonica and whatever stupid shit that I was thinking. Yeah, dub is absolutely phenomenal, and glad to point you in that direction. Easy Star All Stars, they're phenomenal. And that album, I think it was when they did the 25th anniversary of Dark Side of the Moon, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But Philly Roach is the one that turned me on to that. Philly was one of the owners of the distilleries. And he was playing it one day, and I was like, what is this? This is so good. He's like, I know, right? Dub music is phenomenal. I am going to play some music as we go through today. One of the things I plan on doing is I'm going to be here for a while, chatting and yammering with whoever comes along. and the need to smoke will take me because I'm terrible people. So I made, and I'm going to show you this because I'm actually deeply proud of how disturbed I am. Where is it now? Where is it? It's hiding somewhere. Oh, it's at the very top. There we go. Okay. When I do, it's going to look like this. Because I am a child and that's what children do. So yeah, when I enjoyed festivals, that's this is a thing that sucks for me as a totally selfish thing. I've never been to a festival. I've never been to a metal festival. I've never been to a EDM festival. I've never been to punk rock bowling. My company sponsored punk rock bowling, and I still haven't been there, which just genuinely is super frustrating. But c'est la vie. Life is all right, and it's. Oh, you know what, Chad? I may not be getting is Facebook. If anyone's watching on Facebook, let me just quickly. But yeah, I've never been to a festival. I totally want to go to a festival. If I click this, is it going to be the right thing? No, that was weird. That's totally weird. All right, let's try this. Go here. I'm just checking some shit because I don't know what I'm doing. I got 3 comments in there. And yes, so I'm not seeing my chat on Facebook. I will have to. Maybe I'll just stick my phone right here so I can. Hi, I see Nick Kellock. Yes, testing Facebook and English John. Hi, dude. Hey, English John. Long time no see, my friend. I hope you're doing well. English John is in England right now, so it's probably 14 o'clock or some crazy shit. Sorry, Lingus, we like it here is the album. It's insane jazz, Hughes Ensemble, Snarky Puppy's the best song. Very cool live video on YouTube. Just recommend. I will check that out because I loves me some jazz. Similarly, if you want a great rebuttal for your listening ears, I would highly suggest the Esbjorn Svensson Trio. The song is Dodge the Dodo. You can see it on YouTube live, and maybe I'll just quickly grab the link and throw it in chat if that works. I don't even know if it'll fucking work. We'll see. So let me just typey. Can't see shit, so if you're yelling at me right now, I won't see it. Esbjorn Svensson Trio, Dodge the Dodo. All right. I'm going to copy that link. Apparently I'm not. Why the fuck can't I just copy the link? God damn it. Okay, I'm going to click on this and immediately mute it because it will for sure get me in trouble with all the streaming things going, yeah, you're streaming people's copyrighted music. And I don't want to get in trouble. I'm a good boy. All right, so I'm going to paste that. I'll paste that in the YouTube chat because I think I have that open right here. And hopefully that'll work. All right, let's see. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There was Long Walk, Short Dock is always fun. Burning Man looks fun. I think Burning Man definitely looks like it'd be a good time. Got to go to Europe for metal. Yeah, there's a part of me that always wanted to go and hang out in Europe and do Europe things go to Wacken or whatever. More and more I find that I'm just too, I'm old and crotchety, and maybe it's a thing, but I should probably consider it. Definitely Burning Man looks like it'd be fun, but I guarantee you I'd be the old guy going, why am I sunburned? Oh my God, it's so dusty here. Why? When does Johnny Mathis play? I'd be a pain in the ass to everybody. Definitely a different level though. Butthole Surfers Independent Worm Saloon with John Paul Jones. Oh, I love me some Butthole Surfers. That's a blast from my past. The Butthole Surfers was terrible name for a band, but so good. Dave found it all. Excellent. Yeah, so we're here. We're live. We're streaming. see. So yeah, I promise you, I will. I will. I haven't got my vaccination appointment yet. I signed up via the Shoppers Drug Mart has an app, and they're like, "We'll let you know as soon as we know. We'll send you a text. Don't bug us. It could be weeks or months." So like everyone else is getting vaccinated, and I'm like waiting like a dick. So hopefully it all pans out. But I will not make the Wi-Fi reception jokes. I'd be a puppet Burning Man, Kevin Warren says. Ah, you may be right. I'd be. I don't know. Like, I feel like everyone I know that goes to Burning Man is like, 21 years old, and like, that's part of the thing is I'm like old, and being old and surrounded by a bunch of arguably beautiful young women who are wearing like bikinis and things sounds like it should be awesome, but I would literally just be uncomfortable the whole time because that's what I do. I'm an uncomfortable soul. Loud as Hell and Armstrong Metal Fest are a great time. Yeah, absolutely, I would love to go. And in fact, I think Beercore has done some sponsorship stuff with Loud as Hell and possibly Armstrong. I was supposed to play Moments Fest this year, or last year. That got canceled. Damn it, that would have been my first time playing at Siksika, which hopefully I'm saying correctly. I never know, and all of my Indigenous friends, I think, are just too polite to tell me if I'm going psyche and screwing up too bad. Fly, stay in the small town near Vakken in their dope walled town. Take the bus to the festival. We stayed in tiny tents. I'm too old for that. It'll be worth everything always. Oh yeah, you know what? I probably should go. I'm definitely I'm the target market for Vakken. But every time I think about it, I always realize just how poor I am, and that's only temporary though. That's the thing that I kind of love about my life right now is everything's about to be okay, which sounds completely stupid, but here's the thing. I got married young. I got divorced. By the time I was divorced, I had 4 children, and I had a deep, burning sense of responsibility that I had to look after them, financially as well as any way that I could. They lived in a whole different province, so there wasn't a lot more than financial I could do besides being a voice on the phone sometimes. But I said it right. Yay! Thank you, sugar. But that was, when we got divorced, my youngest was 2. And I was looking down the barrel of like 16 years of child support payments and spousal support payments and poverty, which like, all right, I'll deal with all that. Like my kids are absolutely worth it, but it's disheartening nonetheless, right? So that time has passed, and my youngest son, who was 2, is now 17. And all of a sudden, things are like possible. Kevin Warren, you're down to go to Vakken with me. I would definitely go to Vakken with you, sir. If anyone watching doesn't know Kevin, he's phenomenal knowledge of all things music, and particularly metal. He and JP ran the Megawatt Mayhem show forever. I think JP still runs it, but Kevin is no longer doing that. But oh my God, I would definitely do Vakken with you, Kevin. 70,000 Tons of Metal is on Duchess Nukem's list. Duchess Nukem, I know who you are, and I want to say it's Amanda, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know people's funny pirate names. I only know mine, which is Big Ugly Jim. Oh, and by the way, if you want to send me all your money, there's a Twitch thing, or not Twitch thing, there's a tip jar kind of thing. I'm not actually interested in getting your money right now, but I will be using that, especially when I do fundraising stuff for causes or what have you. Oh, it's Nancy. Oh, hi, Nancy. I love you, Nancy. Don't stab anyone, please. Nancy's got a violent past. She's a dangerous, dangerous soul. Where was I going with that? Yeah, so once I kind of work out the quirks here, I want to start doing at least somewhat regularly fundraisers for groups like Bear Clan Patrol, who I think are vital and who are not getting those sweet, sweet United Way dollars So us punks have to step up and support our community, which, I think is absolutely important. So that's why I bothered with getting the whole spiel with fuck, what am I trying to say? My brain's not working. The whole spiel with tipping, so that we can find ways to have people send money, and I'll send it to the Bear Clan on behalf of all of us. The other thing that I like the idea of doing is when the world is not a dumpster fire, how do they tackle the problem of homelessness? They don't like fix. It's not like they still there's homelessness, but essentially they are out on the streets. They are bringing people food. They're bringing them mitts and blankets and things during the winter. Our police have a really great habit of accidentally like destroying everything that the homeless own, because homeless people are icky and ooh. So they do a massive amount of work with the various what am I fucking saying, the various people that are on the street, supporting them in every way that they can. They particularly food. They bring a lot of food. Sugar, you might actually have better answers than I on what Bear Clan's doing, but basically they are eyes and ears on the streets. They talk to the people and understand what they need. There was a gentleman a while back in this winter, I believe, who had his wheelchair was absolutely falling apart, and he needed it to move, and he couldn't literally couldn't get anywhere. He was straight up fucked, and they were able to crowdsource him a new wheelchair, which is phenomenal. Sounds very similar to hopeliveshere.ca in Victoria. Reverend Al, 5 a.m. coffee, breakfast, fresh needles, and a hug. I can't speak to that, but yeah, that's the Bear Clan doesn't have a religious agenda, but they're definitely it's the same idea of building people up, being there to help. Sugar says help look for missing people and children. Absolutely, they've done a great job of helping with. There's been a few times where I've seen things that go across my my Facebook feed that say that they were looking for people and they found people and things. Phenomenal group. And welfare checks, definitely the kind of welfare checks that don't end up in people being dead, which is good. Reverend Al isn't a religious man either. It's a nickname that stuck. My bad. Oh, okay, cool. Well, he could or he couldn't be. I still respect him for doing the good work. Yeah, so Bear Clan, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think they have a direct, these are the 10 things we do or anything like that, but they are extremely active in every possible way they can to just help and support and do what they need to do without it being like, yeah, I'll give you a piece of pizza, but first I'm going to tell you about the Jesus, which I definitely like. I don't think you should get on a cruise. Don't think you could get me on a cruise ship after COVID. Yeah, Kevin, I'm with you on that one. And Nick, I'll make you a beer gift basket to raffle off on here or something. Shoot me a message. Oh, I would love that, Nick. That'd be so awesome. I will totally shoot you a message for that. A beer gift pack. Yeah, turns out beer's a good thing, and I support that plan. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so and they're, like I say, they're a small group. They're funded entirely out of their own pocket and whatever they can get. In better times, Beer Corps would be putting on shows as fundraisers for them. And we've talked to them about we really want to do that, but shows aren't a thing right now. So we're a couple of the times where I've done the live DJ nights, I've had people anyone can donate in the room and stuff like that, and they never really make a whole lot of money, but I'm thinking if I can stream to 3 different platforms while I'm doing that, I don't know how well it's gonna work out because of the whole I'm working off Wi-Fi there, but worth a shot. And maybe fundraise and doing those DJ nights, fundraise here, doing chats, I'm basically an open book while we're live streaming. My promise to myself is that I'll be honest and annoyingly verbose, which actually could be my epitaph. Here lies Jim, honest and annoyingly verbose. Would alabaster non-indigenous people consider wearing ribbon skirts? Oh, this is so I don't ooh, I don't know what you. Sorry, sugar. Can you elaborate on that? That is one thing I did want to say though. Is while I'm getting some more details, hopefully on what that means, because I don't know shit about shit. I know that is it May 5th is the day that we're doing putting up the fuck brain red dresses in support of, or an awareness for the missing and murdered Indigenous women, and the folks from Bear Clan. Actually, I'm gonna see if I can find the YouTube or the Facebook thing. They had sent me an event that they wanted me to share, and I'm gonna turn my chat off for a second, close all chats, and click in here. Not new message. Fuck, I'm so good at internet. Create new room, see all on messenger options. How do I say fuck off right now? Turn off active status. Oh, is that gonna screw with my? No, I think that's okay. Okay, we'll find out. Find out together. And then I can shrink that, and then I can share my browser screen so you guys can see what the hell I'm talking about. Why doesn't the browser show up? Oh, life is good. Browser window. It is this one. Okay, done and transition. Okay, so this is my Facebook page. Obviously, I don't care about people are gonna probably stare at it. But I shared this, and I just wanted to make sure everyone knew about it. Where the hell? Oh, man, I share a lot of stuff. Again, honest and verbose. There it is. So they're doing a call out for donations of toiletries, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, warm mitts, sleeping socks, warm mitts and socks, sleeping bags, blankets. No clothing, please and thank you. If you can donate, they're having the border crossing has a space that's set up for them to do the donations, which I think is awesome of the border crossing. And they also want, if anyone has red dresses that they can donate for specifically for the they basically are going to go around the city March 5th or 6th. And put up red dresses all over the place, just as a awareness raiser for the missing and murdered Indigenous women movement. That's a movement I think is really important and really vital. So I strongly support. So red dress can drop red dresses off to the border crossing or contact La Corazon. If you have La Corazon on Facebook, add her. If not, or message her. If not, add her and then message her. She's fantastic. MMIWG2S. Missing and murdered Indigenous women. The G2S is new to me, so I don't know. Or WG. I'm a bad ally. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But yeah, please, if there's anything you can do to support them, and that includes, probably in a couple weeks after I've worked the bugs out, we'll do one of these, and we will just tip the fuck out of me, and I will give all that money because I don't need money. We'll give it all to the border Bear Clan Patrol. I got new face, so I can't talk. Oh, Girls in Two Spirit. Oh, thank you. I should have 2S. Duh, Two Spirit. How hard is that? I'm pretty. I got that going for me. I wonder if there's maybe new chat boxes. No, doesn't look like that's gonna work. Okay, we're just gonna keep going with the chat as it is. So yeah, I was talking earlier, and I kind of got sidetracked. But yeah, so this whole adult life of mine has basically been poor. I got teeth missing all over the place because I'm a contractor and I don't have benefits and I don't have money because it all goes in various payments to various ex-wife and children and things like that. And that has been 100% okay because this is the world I live in. I'm made children. I love children, and I want them to have the best. So I've never concerned myself with like being upset about it. But yeah, Jake is now 17, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. And soon I'll have things like teeth, and I'll be able to do stuff, and like have money and things. So I'm really excited about that. I'm not sure that I'll stay working full time because I'm also, kind of a dick, and I think it might be fun to just not do some of these things. So we'll see. There's another thing I wanted to share, and I wanted to share this because this made me so happy. And I hope this works. We'll find out in a second. Yeah, I hope this works. Okay, I'm gonna click this and then again pause it immediately. Except I didn't pause it because apparently pause is hard. It might not work because I have a laptop I'm doing all this off of, and that can be challenging in terms. In fact, I'm just gonna look and see what my shit's doing with regards to eating up my CPU. Now we're at 100% CPU and 83% memory. My idea won't work. Maybe it won't work. So I'm just not going to do that. I was going to show you a thing that made me very happy, and that was Ted Nugent has COVID. Ted Nugent has COVID. I could not be happier about that because fuck that guy for one thing. He is a terrible, terrible monster. But also because he was actively going, hey, it's not real, the virus is a lie, yeah, get off my lawn. And now he's like, oh my God, I thought I was going to die. This was the sickest I've ever been. And I just want to say thank you, Ted Nugent, for, you suck. You fucking suck. What the hell am I doing here? Okay. Let's see. Oh, you're a beautiful man. Teeth not required. I agree. I think I'm fucking doing good. For a 47-year-old man, I feel great. Aside from the headaches, and I haven't been able to like do the exercise I committed to doing. So that's a frustrating thing. But I feel good. I'm healthy for the most part. I got a halfway decent face. I got this coif of gorgeous hair. I'm all right. Teeth will be awesome, but I'm getting through. And I'm doing what I do. I hope he dies screaming in his sleep of natural causes or COVID. I would say that I want him to die screaming of deeply unnatural causes, but I want it to be like the day after he finally gets better from COVID. I want him to suffer, and then I want him to die after the suffering stops. I just hate him. Reading about Red Dress May 5th, learning. Yep, absolutely, man. The Red Dress movement is awesome, and I'm a huge fan. And again, this is just all the more reason that we want to support the Bear Clan Patrol. And the racist coffee guy, I refuse to say his name. Totally, fuck that guy right in his ear. And if you think that's not possible, you're just not trying hard enough. Racist coffee guy, like fuck off. I get that I'm just some weird leftist progressive monster, and the world doesn't really value leftist thought these days. We pretend to, but then we have corporations that do all the things and pretend to be leftist. But there's a line, and that guy is so far across that line. Screw him hard forever. Fellow travelers, in the truth of suffering in the human condition, if today all you did was hold yourself together, that's enough. I don't understand what you mean by that, but I agree. I don't know. How can you agree to something if you don't understand it? Words, many words. Yes, I like I said, I'm verbose. Um, so, yeah, has anyone, got any stuff they want to chat about or whatever? I would never ignore you, bright sparkling undergarments / I am Canadian. Why would you even want to contact that person, even with your junk? I wouldn't. I never said my junk. I think I said your, and not yours specifically, Kevin, because I wouldn't want you to go there either. But yeah, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to like bump against him in an elevator, let alone put my wiener in him, even in his ear. Yeah, just a fucking cretin. I don't know if anyone, or I know bright sparkling undergarments watched me as I went through all the political candidates that I was aware of, and he wasn't on the list, but I can officially amend that right now to say, fuck that guy forever. He is not getting a vote from me. I'm sure he will be up all night crying over it because I'm sure that, I'm his target demographic. Probably not. Probably not. But fuck that guy. Yeah. Let's see one of the things I wanted to chat about. Let's see. I did my public service announcement about sinus pills, but again, if you suffer from these stupid headaches that come from Alberta weather going up and down like I do, or if you get TMJ like I do, which is awful, like it was so bad. This is the worst year it's ever been. It was so bad. There were days where I would wake up and I thought I had lockjaw because like my jaw was so tight. It sucks. Sinus pills save lives in this case. It may not be the thing for you, but damn, a lot of people I talk to who have gone for years suffering and trying to get like all the crazy migraine pills and things. Sinus pills can make all the difference in the world. It's huge. A, B, C, D, E, F, anyone but conservatives don't elect Farkas. Absolutely. As much as Mr. Farkas is a fine choice to run something like, a clan meeting or, the burning of a person, I don't think he should run the city. That's just, that's my hot take, my 2 cents. Just an absolute garbage pile of a human. On a completely different topic, the older and more I don't give a fuck, the angrier I get. Why is that, Jim? I want to be that guy. I feel our job is to eliminate the assholes, and they piss me off. I feel that so hard, man. When I was a young kid, I was a skinny little weakling, and a lot of the time I was scared to get involved in anything where I could get hurt because I would. I was very, as a kid, I was very weak and very fragile. And I was angry as a result of that sort of pent-up impotence. And then I got older, I got bigger, I got stronger, I got wiser, and all the things. And I hit this sweet spot where I was just good with the world, and the world was good with me, and everything's good. And now I'm old, and I'm like angry a lot of the time. I'm really trying to work on that, because I feel really let down. When like there are fascists in my country, in my city, and I'm like, seriously? It's not like I pretended for a minute that like, oh yes, World War II, that sure ended fascism. Bullshit. But like people should fucking know better. And particularly like COVID is obviously, we're all cranky pants motherfuckers right now. Absolutely cranky pants motherfucker right now. But I feel like COVID isn't it. I feel like more and more I'm seeing, and it's whether it's the media division stuff or if it's just the fact that the world is drifting further apart in terms of progressive values and conservative values, and by conservative values I mean edging ever closer to fascism, and the sneaky way those motherfuckers use like every possible, like anytime you can find someone who says anything outside of the norm, there's alt-right people in that chat going, yep, let me tell you. And it's not just the alt-right. Like, this is why there's a problem with Islamofascism, right? It is the same mentality, the same super conservative, we need to go back to the old ways bullshit that infected a large chunk of the Muslim world in terms of like countries, not necessarily in terms of people. But that mentality is happening, and it's a thing, and it frustrates me because like we should be better than that by now. And so I spend a lot of time angry, but I'm trying really hard to not. I'm going to tell you a dumb story now. Like I say, I overshare. And I'm going to tell you a dumb story, and then I'm going to go for a smoke, but I'm going to play music while I go for a smoke. Before. Old, white, and angry seems like a thing dripping with sarcasm and its power, how to use it for good, not conservative, fucked up, evil ideas. I will definitely provide some ideas on that. Just let me tell my story. So last night, or yesterday, my eldest kiddo, Abigail, messaged me and said, do you ever watch Queer Eye? To which I never have. And that's not because gay people. It's because from what I understood, it's a makeover show, and they take people and they go, hey, look, you look better, and everyone goes, yay, and it's I'm sure that's great, and I'm sure if you're into fashion, like it's probably an awesome show, but that's what my assumption about the show was. And Abby said something about I had a dream where I contacted them and nominated you, and it was like just the sweetest thing. You have to check it out. It's more than just a thing about clothes. So at like midnight last night, I was like, you know what? I'll put on an episode and go to sleep, and who cares? It's probably nothing. Whatever. So by 4:00, I was exhausted and had to turn off Queer Eye because I couldn't not watch. That's crazy. No, I was watching. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. What a great show. And I think so. My answer to how do we do that is we surround ourselves as much as we can with good things that make us feel good and remind us that other people are good. So for me, last night that was Queer Eye for a Straight Guy, or whatever the full name of the show is. I don't even know. But it's supporting groups like Bear Clan Patrol. It's standing up, when the anger is there, standing up next to the people that need it. This is an area where I have sucked this year, and it's because I'm scared of COVID. I'm not scared of dying of COVID or anything like that. I'm just scared of being the reason that someone I care about dies. I've got friends that are immunocompromised, and I can't take that risk, and it has been scary. I have not stood next to Taylor McNally anywhere near enough. I have not gone on marches with the Bear Clan Patrol. And those are things that are, allow you to have that anger, but to use it for good. And I gotta get better. I gotta get better at doing that. I gotta get past this fear. Maybe vaccination, when in the weeks or months when I finally get told by Shoppers Drug Mart that I can come in for an appointment. Maybe then I'll be more comfortable. But damn, it's, those are the things to me that are important that we're not doing. Yeah. Did I cry? Oh, did I? No, okay. Again, I promised I'd be honest and oversharing or whatever I said. I don't remember what I said, but I didn't cry. I certainly felt, some stuff in the old heart parts. La Corazon's on the Facebook. Always welcome to Bear Clan Patrol anytime, brother. I will take you up on that as soon as I'm vaccinated and don't have to be a giant wuss about being like, oh no, I'm scared of getting sick, because I suck. But I was telling people earlier about what we want to do for raising money for you guys. And if you are on Facebook right now, La Corazon is in the chat on this. Add her as a friend. follow the Bear Clan Patrol YYC. They do amazing things, and they will make your life better just to know you're even a small part of it. So yeah. So anyways, did I cry? No. And then today I was like talking with my kiddo, my elder kiddo Seth, and I was chatting, and I was like, oh, Abby told me about this show. I'm sure you've watched it. Have you ever watched it? And he was like, well, a couple times. And he's queer AF, so I figured he might have watched it. But it turns out that he hadn't much. He was sort of familiar with it, and I started relaying the one episode. Somehow I clicked play on Netflix, and it started me on season 5, because why wouldn't it? Which I found confusing, because season 5, like, I didn't know I was watching season 5, and it just, like, everyone knew who these 5 men were, and I was like, who the fuck? What? Is this a thing? And I didn't realize there was 4 previous seasons, so I suck. Anyways, so I'm telling about the 3rd episode of the 5th season is called Father of the Bride, and it's like such a super analogy to me in a lot of ways. And Abby, and I didn't cry at the time, but relaying, I was just telling Seth about it, like, oh yeah, matter of factly, and I'm telling him matter of factly, and my voice is doing this because apparently, well, I'm not all that tough. So I loved the show, honestly. So I didn't cry, but I was fighting back tears when I was relaying about it. All right, what do we got here? Always, just call 811 and book into the TCC. I feel like this is where my brain is weird. Like, I signed up through Shoppers Drug Mart, and I feel like I owe it to them to wait or something. Like, that's dumb, and I will probably do that this week. But go through 811. But damn, I think I'm gonna take a smoke break, and when I do, I'm gonna play some classic old school Calgary music. I know it's safe from a copyright perspective. And let's just see what I want to play. I'm going to start with some Hail Damage. Definitely, Hail Damage is the shit. Evil Rabbits by Hail Damage. I'm going to cue that. And, Girls and Gasoline by the Hardtails. That's a good one. And then, let's scroll down a bit. I'll put on Sunday Fucking Evening by the Legitimate Businessman Social Club. All right, I'm gonna jump out for a smoke. I'll put up my cute little I have gone for a smoke message and leave you with some music. And before I go, please let me know if it's too loud or anything, or if you're not hearing it. I'll put earphones in. Okay, I can hear things. And put on my Cool Gone Smoking message. And go. Let me know if you can hear it before I go out. I just want to make sure. Oh, I love you too, La Corazon.
Last night, the city looked nice. Like snakes chasing mice. And was building to never remind you of what's lurking right behind you.
shows were like my favorite thing. I don't need these in, and I hear weird. It's like I hear the whole room sound, so just not gonna do that. Classic beer core memory. I guess I'll tell the story of punks versus ninjas. It's one of the classics, one of the greats. Also, kind of terrible story in a lot of ways. So I'm gonna tell it from my perspective because I wasn't there for this. So I had gone to Kelowna to visit my kids, and I woke up in the morning and I knew there was a beer core show the night before. And I was like, I wonder how the show went. So I hopped on to CalgaryPunk.com back in the day when, you know, the internet was all the things that ended in .com and stuff. And there was news. There was news. Essentially, what I had missed was this. So there was a guy there who was not part of the thing that we do. You know, he was just sort of someone that someone knew. And he decided that he would have a spat with his girlfriend, I believe is how it started. And they're yelling outside the bar, and he got angry, and he actually put his fist through some car window right outside the bar. So total piece of shit, deserves everything he gets. At the same exact time that happened, there was a group of across the street from the first distillery was this Japanese restaurant slash karaoke bar slash whatever. And there was a bunch of guys that were getting thrown out of there for being a problem. And I don't know if it was their car or if they were just dicks. I don't know for sure. But they started fighting this guy. They started beating him up. And someone saw this and saw a punk rock kid getting beat up by some people, ran inside and was like, Mark, there's some people beating up one of the people. So Mark and a bunch of the boys hopped outside, and there was a brawl, an absolute brawl that resulted in like tables were thrown all over the place, like all over Fifth Ave. There was Dave Wasted got stabbed and was in the hospital. Mark got cut. A few people, like, it was a brutal brawl. So there's me the next morning. Oh, I wonder if anything. Log on. Well, fuck me. That was we had the Gutter Demons playing that night, if I'm not mistaken, and the Gutter Demons from Montreal, awesome psychobilly band, and definitely like, hey, welcome to Calgary. It's a great, safe place. Hope you don't mind. There's a massive brawl across the street or on the street. Sorry. Yeah, man, I miss shows. I don't necessarily miss people getting stabbed. But that's the only time that ever happened. So, you know, I'm good with people not getting stabbed at shows. I think that's that stance I will take. I will firmly take. Yeah, man, I miss the world of live music. I miss going out and seeing musicians play and having fun. I think for me personally, that's been the hardest price of COVID, is just not being able to do the thing that I always do, and that is, what makes me happy. I like I say, I work all my life. I've worked, and that's a good thing, and I'm proud of that, because it's I've supported my children the whole time, but that was always the thing I did for sanity, and not having that fucking sucks. I have been very lucky that the fine folks at Bodies of Everest, one of the 3 bands I'm in, we're still doing stuff. We actually have a new additional guitar player in Chris Saunders. Some of you may know Chris from Balragath. Sorry, I always say that wrong. Or you might know him from the Reckless Heroes. Just a rad human being and a great addition to the band. And then we now have a new person also who will be joining us doing some singing. And that is my friend Hannah. So super excited about that. And we've basically been using the time to record. Not record like we're going to release an album, but to use that as a means to share ideas and stuff. So it's been really quite awesome to keep making music, and even if it is in this weird broken little way, but fun. And we're doing all these weird challenging things like writing in strange time signatures because it's like a progressive metal or progressive rock band, and that means that I have to be a good musician, which is not maybe something I'm used to, but I'm learning, I'm getting better, and it's fun. So I'm very grateful for that. Music's like literally everything. When I was a kid, my mom was getting a degree in music, and so my childhood was like knee deep in music of all kinds. My I'd be downstairs playing on the old Commodore 64 with my friends, and upstairs my mom would be, because her instrument was her voice, so she'd be upstairs going like me me ma mo moo, and this was normal to me because that was my childhood. I went and saw operas. I went and saw jazz ensembles. I saw symphony orchestras all at the university, and it was amazing. If you're looking for fairly cost-effective date ideas that are out of the normal, like check out the University of Calgary's events page. Their calendar always has something going on, whether it's art, theater, music, whatever, and it's like guaranteed win. You want to, especially if you're trying to impress somebody, it's a good way to do that. But if you're like me and you don't give a shit about impressing people, it's just a good way to have a good night. So, right on, right on, right on. No one's chatting right now. I feel like on the spot, which is probably exactly what live streaming is. So shut up, Jim. Get over your shit. I had an interesting thing happen a couple days. You're impressing me with my unimpressing nature. Well, I'm very unimpressive. I know what you mean. I'm just kidding. I a long time ago, I gave up on ego is the enemy. Absolutely, I gave up on the idea of being a normal person. Right. I tried really hard when I was young to figure out how to fit in because I was a loser, and it seemed like this impossible thing. And by grade 8, I had figured out that that I wasn't gonna be normal, and that was probably gonna be all right. So I embraced it, and I decided to just live my life the way I wanted to live it. And no, that didn't mean being a punk rock kid. I found punk rock way later in life. I was a little hip hop kid, actually, believe it or not. But I've always been really happy to just be an uncompromising me. And when I started to I got married right out of high school, and when that ended, I went through just shitty panic phase for being in the single life. But once I got past that, once I figured my shit out, maybe I'll tell you how I figured my shit out after. But what I figured out was I used to say the first date should always be spaghetti because I don't want to, there's no way you can eat spaghetti elegantly. So I would rather be honest and genuine and be like, this is the mess that I am. If you like me, that's cool. But if you don't, I totally get it too. That's the thing. Abby asks, best opera / musical I've seen. I'm not really big on musicals, honestly. I saw Cats when I was a kid and was just blown away by it. And Les Miserables, actually, Les Miserables would be the answer for the best thing I've seen, just because it's so emotional and powerful. But what was the opera that we went and saw, Abby? We went and saw The Barber of Seville, and that was magnificent. It was just down the road at the Jubilee, and it was so fantastic. And now I wanna get seasons tickets the next time that we can leave the house again. not mainstreaming is being normal. I definitely agree, and I've interestingly enough that comes from Bright Smiling Undergarments slash I Am Canadian, who is a former boss of mine, and can attest to the fact that I'm pretty much I work in jobs where you wear suits, but I have always been very much unapologetically me, even in that environment. I don't do the bootlicking thing. It's just not who I am. So, and it believe it or not, that has worked for me. As bizarre as it is, I used to joke about being a diversity hire for companies because they would literally, like, consulting firms that I worked for would invite me to things, and then they would like parade me around and be like, "Look at this guy. We hired him because he's smart, even though he looks like that." That's how amazing we are. And for the record, when a white guy is your diversity hire, you are not diverse. That's just fucking facts. But what has happened is I work now in a lot of projects, and when I start working anywhere, the people I work with are always like, "Oh shit, like this is the guy," and then they realize that I'm smart and good, and they're like, "Oh wow, I'm glad I took a chance on this guy," and like it endears me to people to be this weird that I am. When it comes to work and doing the job, there was never any doubt from anyone in corporate who thought you were anything but the consummate professional, Jim. You don't get to be a contractor that long without being good at what you do. Interestingly enough, I posted on this on Facebook, and the then CIO of Encana actually messaged me over it in a very apologetic way. When I became a BA, the person who was in charge of the project management office assigned me to the little Bulgarian woman that I worked with for years. I'm not going to mention names because I don't have her permission to do so. But when I got assigned to her for a project, her boss basically said to her, unbeknownst to me, he's like, "We're just really looking for an excuse to let Jim go. So, when he fucks up, just let us know." And fortunately, she's the sort that was like, "Oh, really? Yeah, you want me to, get rid of this guy for you? I'm gonna work him, and if he sucks, yeah, but if he doesn't, screw you." And we worked together for many years in several companies after that. So obviously it didn't work. But so yes, I was a consummate professional, and yes, for the most part, people were very supportive of me. But there were people in that organization that were not. And yeah, I had the CIO of CIO of Synovus messaged me and was like, "Dude, what just happened? Did I just go offline? No, I don't know. I have it on my phone so I can see the Facebook chat, and it just suddenly decided I didn't want to do that anymore. Is it still live? It's still live. My phone's just possessed by the devil. Assholes are always assholes. That's absolutely true. It wasn't just you they turned their nose up to. Oh yeah, guaranteed. I'm certainly not like a unique and special flower in this regard. And I know that, and I'm basically good with it. And we're back. Might be beer time. This tea ain't cutting it. Oh, I got one right here waiting for me. A little Lucky Lager action, but I'm still doing some coffee, so that's good. You see me, I see you, Ray. We see each other. Yeah, no, it was weird for me at the time when I found out about it, and I wasn't even working at the company anymore. I had been there for many years and had moved on, and the little Bulgarian woman told me this story, and I was honestly hurt. I was like, I'm good, and then I thought about it, and I was like, no, I get it. Like, I had previous to that role, I was kind of in a server support role that wasn't a good fit, and I wore jeans to work all the time, and I had one person in particular who really backed me and stood up the idea that I should be a BA, and I started wearing nice clothes, and it all worked out. But yeah, still online with no interruptions on YouTube. I don't think there was an interruption. I think it was, well, maybe there was, I don't know. But yeah, it's oh, there must have been something. I don't know. Things are weird. I don't understand the world. I'm not a technology guy. I'm actually really impressed that in like just a few months, I have basically gone from sitting in my basement with like my cell phone and doing Facebook Live, just chatting with other people, and now I have like this suite of things and multiple chat windows, and I'm ooh fancy, like pinkies up while I drink my coffee. Which is funny because like I have a degree in computers and I should be like super awesome at this, and I was like an early adopter of the internet is important and we should do things and it'll be awesome. But you know, I'm definitely not up on the new technology. Like I don't even have a Twitter account. I'm scared. I am accelerating. I'm not an accelerationist, that's for sure. I'm accelerating the singularity. That's a thing, man. People really think about that. The concept of the I'm gonna weigh in on this. The singularity doesn't make sense to me. Conceptually, where they talk about the point where human and machine can become one. I'm all for cyborgs. I would totally get like robot teeth or robot eyes or robot pancreas or whatever. Like I'm 100% down with that. But the idea of like uploading my brain into a computer to be immortal, like that's not me that would be immortal. I don't get where people are thinking that. Like the whole singularity thing where, you know, you upload your consciousness into the web. First off, I'm not that fucking special. Second off, I've never wanted to live forever. You know why I don't want to live forever? It's science fiction shows have taught me this, and I don't watch a lot of sci-fi, but I was thinking about this, the whole like living in the future thing and how it's always presented like this amazing, awesome experience. And I looked at my grandfather. My grandfather died at 99 years old, and he was born, I think 1901 or like right around the turn of the century. And so his life went from theoretically there are cars to there's an information superhighway. And I thought about it and I was like, that's tough. Like how do you adapt to that much change over the course of your life? And our rate of change is like massively out of control in a good way. But if I'm like, 200 years from now, if I'm still around, like how am I supposed to, being me and being who I am, how am I supposed to understand any of this shit? Like, I just don't get it. Someone just told me that shooters canceled their registration because of overwhelming response. Better check and see if they're still going to honor your appointment. Oh, shoppers. Shoppers, I'm assuming. They may very well. I'm going to use the 811 thing because I definitely want to get the vaccine sooner than later. I think it's really unfortunate that they were dwelling on the whole stroke thing, because like it's such a non thing. Like you probably have a bigger risk of stroke by like not having dental. That's a huge. People don't realize how much like dental abscesses can be the cause of stroke. Like legitimately, in healthy young people. I've mentioned this before on stream. My ex-wife's second or third cousin's husband, who is a guy that I know and I like, and it's not like, oh yeah, 3 times removed. He lives in Hungary or some shit like that. It's like I've met the guy. We've hung out. I've eaten his food. He had a stroke, like a full-on stroke, because he had an abscessed tooth that sent a blood clot into his system and killed him. And that didn't kill him. Sorry. Fucked him over. And he's younger than I am, and he was driving home, and all of a sudden he's halfway up his driveway, and he lost the ability to function, and all he knew to do was like literally stand on the brake because he knew he was like partway up a hill, and so he just sat there standing on this brake, like unable to think, unable to speak, unable to like just in terror for like 45 minutes until his wife got home and saw him and was like, "What are you doing?" And he couldn't respond. He was, doing the slurry inability to speak, and they got him help, and like he's still alive. Thank goodness for that. But like that's some serious shit. That's from an abscessed tooth. Stroke is real. It's terrible. 6, 7, whatever people out of how many million shots, like it's not a threat. And it gives the anti-vax people that like, oh yeah. If I take it, I'll get a stroke. I can't do that. I'd rather risk COVID. It's just the flu. Ted Nugent will tell you otherwise. Fucker. Ted Nugent knows it's not just the flu. Or a hangover, high blood pressure the next day. Yeah, you can totally, you can stroke from a hangover. You can stroke from any number of things. We probably have like a million things we don't even know about that cause blood clots. Yeah, hate the fact that the media spotlighted that. I get why. I get that they're trying to be transparent and that, like everyone's saying, we're being cautious. And it's, proof that, because there are people out there who really believe that like the polio vaccine is why there's HIV, which is not fucking. I'm going to share a video link that I think you guys should watch. I shared it on my Facebook page, but oh my God, this is amazing. Don't watch it right now because I'm way, way cool. And, I need your love and support. Where was I'll just make a new tab here. YouTube. It's a YouTuber named Little Hoot, who I recently started following and is absolutely for like brilliant as hell stuff I really enjoy. Where is it? Little Hoot. Oh, there's this channel. How did we get AIDS? I'm gonna share this. Copy link address and go into the chat here and paste it. Hopefully that goes a bunch of different places. I don't even know what is happening with that. But yeah, really phenomenal thing about the history of AIDS and HIV and, GRID and, the sort of homophobia behind it. And really worth watching this video. I highly recommend it. Dave says, what if you could turn yourself to standby mode and be turned on and access like a historical archive of your time? What if you had the built-in and assailable option as a human pseudo-human construct to then yourself back to a dormant state and perhaps deny on a case-by-case request? I think if people did that, they could... I still think like, they would turn me on and they'd be like, say something funny, old unrelated to the world man. And I'd be like, my day we had an onion tied to our belt, which was the fashion at the time. And it would not, like, what historical value would I bring? Just some shitty leftist guy from Calgary that no one, 7 people, are watching right now. So that's pretty, I can't say no one cares. You guys care and I love you for it. Thank you. But you know what I mean? Like who am I that I should, and maybe this is my imposter syndrome, but what do I bring to the world that I need to live forever, or my consciousness needs to live forever? And also, when you copy your brain into a computer, that's not you anymore. You're not living forever. You're just a series of bits that resembles you. Taylor McNally's watching. I love you, Taylor. Everyone should definitely be doing everything in their power to stand beside Taylor whenever possible. I was saying earlier, Taylor, that I have not done a good enough job as a friend of yours being in your corner, and that once I am vaccinated, you can just get sick of me. That's just how shit's gonna be. Yeah, I feel very cowardly right now about the whole COVID monster, but it is what it is. We get through in our own ways. So yeah, definitely take a look at that video. It's quite fascinating. There was another thing I saw a long time ago that was really fascinating, and it was about FIV, the feline immunodeficiency virus, which is like the cat version of HIV. And it was a researcher in, he was doing work in Africa, I believe, and he was doing blood work on the pride of lions that he was working with, and he discovered FIV in this pride of lions, and he was quite worried that, like, oh no, his pride is gonna die. And they then sort of published this information, and researchers started testing big cats, and like all lion prides have like rampant FIV, and this was a huge like, oh my god, we're gonna lose lions. This is terrible, and they didn't die, and they didn't get sick, and the prevailing theory is that the strain of FIV is a, for want of a better term, a smart enough virus that knows that if it kills its host, it dies too, so it just doesn't. I don't know if this is valid science or not, but this is just something that I read a long time, or I saw a long time ago, and fascinating stuff. So I really strongly encourage the video I just shared in the chat. For those of you that are on Facebook, it doesn't show up there. It shows up in the YouTube chat and possibly elsewhere. I don't even fucking know how shit works anymore. But essentially, I shared a link to a video by Little Hoot, and it's all about the history of HIV, and it's phenomenal, and everyone should watch it because it's super cool. Why wouldn't the FIV be different and potentially non-lethal? Who knows? But typically, immunodeficiency viruses are, bad. Let's see. Between a black kid being tackled by CPS, a black kid being jumped in Edmonton, and the millions of messages I've had to field today about both, while also preparing to fick all day for the bubble bath buffet. Shit. Click see more. Fuck no, see more. Stupid fat thumbs. Fucking lovely. Oh. No. People need to stop being fucking garbage. That's just all there is to it. I don't know, like, if this is a radical thought, but, like, it turns out that Black Lives Matter, and maybe we should stop being shitty. And I'm speaking specifically to the honkies in the room. I know people watching my stuff are not the ones that this message needs to go to, but I'm so fucking frustrated with the way that the world is right now. And like, we gotta stop being shitty. This is I'm fucking done. And, when the world stops being as big a threat for, the whole COVID thing, there's gonna be some angry Jim out in the world. That's all there is to it. Yeah. Anyway, sorry that got a little ugly for a second there, which is probably valid and probably important, because I think, honkies have to call other honkies out, because I don't think that's happening. Forget all the cancel culture bullshit. This is happening. People are beating up people. I never have this experience, but my son regularly will go outside and have a smoke, and I've got the Black Lives Matter and Indigenous Lives Matter signs in my window, and people driving by, not regularly, it hasn't happened very often, but it has happened where they've screamed various racist epithets at him, and never at me, which I don't know what the difference is. Oh, right, they're cowardly bitches. But my son, he don't fuck around, and he's if they get out of that car, there's gonna be a problem. And if I hear it, definitely gonna be a problem. But yeah, that's a thing. We need to stop. We need to just get past all this stupid bullshit. Race is not real. It's real in the sense of, like, it's a valid social construct, but it doesn't make me any really significantly different than anyone else. And I'm certainly not, as someone who was born with this nasty skim milk white flesh, it doesn't make me better, doesn't make me worse, doesn't make me anything. I've got all these privileges, and you know what's fair? It's not fair to remove my privileges, because I like my privileges. So let's just give those privileges to fucking everybody. Let's raise everybody up so that we can all have good lives. I don't know why this is radical. I genuinely don't understand. I'm raising some amazing kids. I'm trying, and you know what? They're doing good. I was talking with my eldest son the other day. When he came to live with me, he was a bit of an MRA. He was a bit of he was queer, but he was kind of like Milo Yiannopoulos queer. And now he's like a full on social justice warrior. And I'm certainly not the reason that he is the person that he is, but I've had a hand in it, and I'm very proud of that fact because he makes me proud. And knowing where he started and where he is now, like, it just fills my heart with joy. So I'm super glad for that opportunity. I never thought that I would have the opportunity to look after my kids. My ex and I, like I said, we split up when Jake was 2. They lived in a different province. And I lived in poverty to support them. And that, again, not a complaint. My kids were worth every penny I spent and more. But this was my life. And I they never owed me this. I knew that they would be raised far away from me without understanding who I was. And their mom certainly, I don't think she tried to shit talk me, but there were times when she shit talked me. I think that is understandable, and I'm not calling her out on that. But in her mind, she saw that I made the decision to stay in Calgary with my friends instead of go out to Kelowna with my family, which isn't the case at all. There was no work for me in Kelowna, and I was the only person who was providing, so kind of had to stay. But my take, her take, who's right, who's wrong, doesn't fucking matter. My kids were the reason I stayed, and my kids, I knew that they were going to be growing up with a different perspective of me. And I got the opportunity to raise my youngest daughter when she was 13, 12 to 13. She came to live with me. She was having some trouble. And I'd like to tell you I set her on the straight path. I think I eventually had that impact, but she went through some more stuff before she became the fantastic person that she is today. And then Abby decided she wanted to come live with me when she turned 18, which was wonderful. And right at the same time, things went crazy with. I'm trying to work on my words. Things went wild with the situation with my 2 boys. So I took Seth to live with me, and then a year and a half, 2 years ago, Jake came to live with me. So I've had all of my children now, and I've been a very lucky man to be able to have this opportunity with them. So that's just, I never expected it. I always figured that, maybe 1 or 2 of them would come looking for me and want to know who their dad was. But I really felt that they just, they grew up without me. And I was just a voice on the phone going, hey, don't do that to your sister. Don't eat paste, whatever. So this has been like the biggest blessing and joy that I could ask for. So sorry, that's I told you I was gonna be honest and verbose, and nailing it. Once again, Marvel Civil War mug. I've got Captain America. I've got Iron Man. The last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier came out yesterday. I am not going to spoil anything. I will just tell you, fuck, did I love that. It was such a good episode. And such a great series. People were upset about Captain America being Wyatt Russell, I think is Kurt Russell's son. People were really pissy about that. Totally get it. But Wyatt Russell did a fantastic job of portraying John Walker. I did a video in my YouTubes about why he was the perfect Cap for today. It really comes down to Captain America from the 1950s would be a blonde-haired, blue-eyed wonder farm boy with all the goodness in his heart off to go fight the Nazis. But the Captain America of today would be one of 2, and it would either be a progressive who wants the world to be a better place, or a sociopath who wants to follow all the orders and make sure that the boots remain licked. And that is the John Walker character. And that's true to the Marvel Comics universe. He became Cap for quite a while. And I was the minute I saw John Walker's name, I was like, ooh, ooh, they're doing this. Oh my God, this is gonna be so awesome. Oh fuck, yes. And the show definitely was everything I wanted it to be. So that's cool. WandaVision was such a hit. Falcon and Winter Soldier was such a hit. And now I just saw the trailer for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And Shang-Chi is played by the guy who plays Jung on Kim's Convenience. Holy awesome. I can't fucking wait for that. So yeah, big nerd moment. Sorry. That's what big nerds do. And I'm a big nerd, so you're just gonna have to cope with that. Drinking from my Marvel mug. This was actually given to me by my friend Karina, and we got it at, I think, like one of the weird liquidation land, like super discount cheapy places, and I like brought it home, and I was like to my kids, like, "You will never touch this. This is mine," and it has been mine ever since. Everything else they can touch, but this is my cup. God damn it. Yeah. Geez, I've talked a bunch about TV. My recent finding of Queer Eye, and now the Marvel movies or the Marvel shows. I guess I should do a trifecta and highlight one of the reasons why my kiddo Abby thinks I'm a monster. So I have watched Grey's Anatomy from cover to cover like several times, and people always go, "Really, you?" Let me explain. I don't give a crap about Grey's Anatomy, but I go through waves of sleeplessness where I just get garbage sleep and I can't fall asleep. And if I put on something that I'm engaged with, I will be up all night until like 5 a.m, and then I will fall asleep. RuPaul's Drag Race, love RuPaul's Drag Race. Absolutely love. I don't get to watch it enough because I don't watch like TV, but RuPaul, fantastic. Anyways, so Grey's Anatomy, I don't care about. I don't care at all about. I can put Grey's Anatomy on and they can all start dying and I don't care. I can close my eyes and just there's noise in the background. I fall asleep. Everything is good. So I have watched it and I don't care if I miss anything. Like, there's no moment where I'm like, okay, don't fall asleep because this important moment is happening. Couldn't care less. Right? So I have told my kiddo this many times, and they decided that they were going to watch it at work because they had the opportunity and there was a quiet day, and they're like, you know what, I'm just gonna watch an episode of Grey's Anatomy. And I get this message from them, and it's like, you fucking monster. How do you not, like, I'm one episode in and I've cried like 8 times. What is wrong with it? And I'm like, Daddy's broken. I don't know. But yeah, I'm a damaged soul. But yeah, I actually, the thing that's annoyed me about Grey's Anatomy, and annoyed me in a good way, is that the later seasons started to actually suck me in. Like, literally, I will watch, I think it's like 14 seasons where I don't give a fuck. And it's just background noise and I fall asleep. And then the last couple of season or two, I don't recall, there's characters that I suddenly actually care about, and that drives me nuts. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to find another show I don't care about. I did this with Friends originally, but now it's not on Netflix. The whole like I can fall asleep and not care about you thing. Christine Hawk is watching. Hi, Christine. I haven't seen Christine in a long time. We were friends in junior high, and we reconnected thanks to Punk Calgary or Punk Canada, which I thought was pretty awesome. Yeah. RuPaul's Drag Race. Best family show ever. I don't know that I would say best family show ever. I would say best show ever. No, that's probably not. That's probably an overstretch, but it's a great show. I love RuPaul. Whatever you do, don't put Coronation Street on in the background while doing housework. Okay, so my ex-wife loves Coronation Street. Love. Like, to the point where my ex-wife went to England to visit English John, who was watching earlier, and went on a tour of the Coronation Street set, got a signed Coronation Street script, like the whole shebang. Loves that show. I would set fire to it in a heartbeat. If there was a way for me to personalize and create a person that was Coronation Street and I had a gas can, that show'd be over. Sorry. It's just so bad. It's just so bad. Like, they all have teeth like I do, but they're not as charming. Before you know it, 2-year binge watching. I can't do it because it was on all, like, every day. I guess the reason that she got into the show was because when she was breastfeeding, the kids always were breastfeeding at that time, and there's nothing on like 2 p.m. on TV. So she wound up, like, you know, watching it, and then her grandma watched it, so they would talk about it afterwards and stuff, and just sort of sucked it. So it's not like she's terrible people or anything for watching it, but every time it was on when I was around, I just, like, and I would joke with her. I'd be like, "Oh, I hate you, Michael Baldwin, you monster," but yeah, I can't stand that fucking show. There's so many better shows that I could watch, like you know, that channel where it's just fuzz? That'd be good, comparatively. The one with the color bars that are all the way down the screen and one at the bottom. Yeah, totally. That's way better. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really been a soap opera guy, but also at the same time, I used to watch professional wrestling every week. So I guess I have been a soap opera guy, just like a sweaty soap opera. I actually developed a theory about politics based on wrestling, and I'm going to share that now because I can. When I was a kid, I used to watch Stampede Wrestling in particular. Yeah, Stampede Wrestling. Fucking A. Archie the Stomper. Archie the Stomper was a little before my time, although I totally know and have seen video of Archie the Stomper wrestling. But, like, Cuban Assassin, the Karachi Vice, like, oh my god, wrestling was so racist. Ikam Singh, Gamma Singh, and Mukkan Singh. And Mukkan Singh was white, but he had turned his back on Western values. He was apparently like the uber original Omega cultural Marxist or something. I don't know, fuck, whatever. But I loved it as a kid, and I loved it, just all of the stuff about it, knowing that it was, you know, fake, but just enjoying it. And I was thinking about politics, and it was specifically when Jean Chrétien was no longer prime minister and Paul Martin took over, and it was that transition that made me realize what this theory was, and so I'm going to explain it. In pro wrestling, you have you know, good guys and bad guys, faces and heels, however you want to phrase it, and the bad guys are always infinitely bad, and the good guys are always, you know, super infinitely good Captain America types. That's changed now because, you know, we're in a world of anti-heroes and anti-villains and stuff, so that's a thing. But, you know, back in my golden era, your good guys were good, your bad guys were bad. There was no bleed over, except when they wanted to hype up someone who was coming back from an injury. And what they would typically do, and we'll use the example of, like, let's say Bruce Hart and Brian Pillman were a tag team called Bad Company. Every bit as Calgary as that sounds. Mullets and, like, electro pink, super cool outfits and stuff. And Brian Pillman got injured and came back after, or no, I'm telling this wrong. I can't think of a good example. There'd be a villain who would be out injured. And that villain would, you know, be gone 2-3 months while they rehab or, you know, whatever. And when they come back, they want to make a big deal out of it. So what they would do is they would take, like, the one good guy in the territory who was around, like, let's say Owen Hart, and they would just have, like, week after week of Owen Hart getting the piss kicked out of him by all the bad guys. And the bad guys were just merciless. And there'd be a day finally Owen would be locked up in the ropes, you know, that thing where he's struggling and he can't move, and oh no, and they got a chair and they're smacking him with the chair, and no one, and Ed Whalen's going, oh, God damn it, get a ref in there, someone save him. And out of nowhere, the guy who's been missing for 2 months, his music would hit, and the crowd would be like, oh my God. And he would come running to the ring, and he'd grab a chair, and he'd beat up all the bad guys, and he'd save Owen Hart, and he'd be like, there's a new sheriff in town, yeah. And it was this cheap heat that totally worked every time, and everyone would be super excited. He could go back to being a villain like 3 weeks later, but there was that brief moment, what they call a face turn, where the villain is now suddenly being cheered because he's doing the right thing. And I was watching the situation with Jean Chrétien. Now, Jean Chrétien, for the most part, was a fairly decent Canadian Prime Minister. He wasn't awful. But at the end of his tenure, he just seemed to be a problem. He was choked people. He was all kinds of weird and confusing. And I feel now like what we saw was his deputy prime minister, Paul Martin, ran to the ring with a chair and cleaned house and was like, there's a new sheriff in town. And this, I think, was intentionally done to make Jean Chrétien seem like a boob, because I think that the Conservatives were standing a fairly decent chance of, when Chrétien, either he would run again and lose because he was just not there anymore, or someone new would come along and it's like it's a crapshoot who's going to win. So they did this pro wrestling angle where Paul Martin suddenly standing up to Jean Chrétien and talking about how, you're garbage and you need to stop. And like Paul Martin was his number one guy for years. And then he takes over the leadership of the party and everyone's like, oh my God, this is so amazing, so great. And I feel like it was just like we forgot about the fact that there was other options, because we had a face turn. We had a new villain in Jean Chrétien and a new hero in Paul Martin who was going to clean up this goddamn town. That didn't work. Paul Martin was a shit leader. He sucked every bit of life he could out of it. Terrible, terrible politician, and fuck that guy. But, that was... And you watch that happen in politics all the time, that the face turn and the heel turn. So yeah, maybe I did watch soap operas, and maybe I learned a lot from soap operas. I don't know, but pro wrestling was definitely was my jam for a long time. Redeemed himself for a second. Ray, I'm not sure who we're speaking of. Are you referring to Paul Martin? Because I don't recall anything he did that was good. My memory of Paul Martin is like giving his own company contracts and just generally being a really ineffectual, boring leader. And he really paved the way for a liberal loss, which, frankly, the Liberal Party deserves to lose. I'm not a fan of... like Justin Trudeau he's a nice face in a suit. They did the right thing with CERB. Like, I've given credit where credit's due there, but not a great leader. A lot of talk, a lot of really, especially progressive talk, but not a lot of actual action, in my opinion. Small C liberal at best, totally agree. I find him like a real letdown. I didn't have like, oh my goodness, Pierre Trudeau said is going to be prime minister and the world will be progressive. I didn't have that at all, but I was hoping he would be better. Chrystia Freeland is the real leader. She's amazing. Possibly. Like, I literally, I haven't been paying attention to the Liberal Party at all because they're just not in my scope of care. I'm like all over in my heart Jagmeet Singh. I feel like he's gonna let me down so hard as a politician, because they all do. But I feel like he's the best option that we have, like a federal version of Rachel Notley, who I think was fantastic. And you can pretend I'm a socialist for saying that. I am a socialist, but the Notley's policies were not socialist. They were Lougheed era conservative. So, if that's what passes for socialism, then I guess Alberta was a socialist proletariat state in the 70s, which it was not. But, I'll give you an example. I mentioned earlier Encana and Cenovus, which was once one company called Encana. And before it was one company called Encana, it was two companies called AEC and Pan Canadian. And Pan Canadian was originally owned by CP Rail and can go all the way back to Confederation in their history. AEC, however, was created in the 1970s by Peter Lougheed as a partially publicly owned oil company to allow the province to take some of the benefit of the booming oil market. So that's a socialism that conservatives did. And honestly, that was a good thing. Yeah, she walks her talk, not least a real leader, irrespective of politics. Totally agree. I have nothing but respect for Rachel Notley. I think she was exactly what we needed. And unfortunately, in typical Alberta fashion, we got given what we wanted and we went, I like the other thing because I forget things. And then we elected fucking Kenny. Fucking Jason Kenney. Like, what were we thinking? Seriously? Jason Kenney? Like, I would rather have had an election where, I don't know, Marmaduke from comic strips was the premier, because I feel like Marmaduke might have given us vaccines. Marmaduke might have actually like spent provincial money and federal money on helping people through CERB, instead of just being like, if I do things, my base will think I'm a socialist. I'd argue Lougheed was a progressive conservative, but didn't hide his public works, aka AEC. Absolutely, like there's no arguing. Certainly, Lougheed was a conservative, and an old boy Alberta conservative, definitely. But he was progressive, and that feels awkward to even just say it. Progressive conservative, which was the name of our party forever, it's an oxymoron. But yeah, he was a phenomenal Alberta leader. I don't like Lougheed, but much better than, fucking Ralph Klein. Oh my God, I can't believe people hold him up and be like, oh my God, why can't things be like when Ralph was in charge? He made the country great again, or the province great again. No, he fucking didn't. He lucked out. He made stupid promises he could not keep. He lied about all of them except balancing the budget. And the only reason he balanced the budget, the only fucking reason he balanced the budget, was we had unexpectedly high oil and gas revenues. We were not going to have a balanced budget without that. But the fucking clown takes credit. Screw that. He wrecked Alberta. He destroyed so much. He killed public education. He killed the healthcare sector. And where they're still limping along, now Jason Kenney's coming in to fuck the corpse and just be like, I can do this. I learned very well from my father, Ralph Klein, how to treat a public system. Fucking tool. United Clown Posse. Yeah. Ultimately, I find they're too hard to take. These analogies are why I love watching you. Oh, thank you, sugar. I live, my brain is a brain of analogies, which is sometimes really challenging. Like I when I was in college in a psychology class, we were talking about, what the fuck were we talking about? We were talking about, I don't even remember, but it was one of these, one of the, some important like gestaltism or whatever that came up, and the only way that I knew how to learn this was to create analogies in my head. And so I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what the analogy was, but I like raised my hand and I was like, is it kind of like this, without thinking? And I said like some genuinely awful thing to describe that was an accurate analogy. And the teacher was just like, yes, That's a good analogy. And it would like literally the whole class is just like, what the fuck is with homeboy? So that was a thing. Yeah. I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun too. I was actually really nervous about this. This is something I wanted to do because I wanted to get to that comfort level where I can do the live streams to raise money for things like Bear Clan or, what have you. And so I'm glad that this has worked. Stories well framed things in and tell ourselves are so important, seeking to understand. Totally agree. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a writer. That was like the only thing I wanted to do. And I think storytelling is the most important part of. Someone's laughing. I hope. Oh, it's, you know what? There's a drag there, a lag between the internet and. So I was like, I wanted to be a writer, and I see laughter emojis, and I'm like, oh my god, that's terrible. Oh right, it's like 20-second lag or whatever. It's probably why. Yeah, I wanted to be a writer. I felt that storytelling is like the most important thing, and it's interesting because I actually wanted to be a horror writer in the style of Stephen King or Clive Barker. I thought that was going to be my calling. And then I got published in a horror novel. Or not horror, sorry, a horror web fanzine. I got 2 short stories published, and it was right after I'd had a non-horror short story published on 3 a.m., which would become my home for a long time as a writer and as an editor. But I got these 2 short stories published in a horror mag, and I was super proud of myself. And I read them, and I was like, yes, I will be a horror writer. And then I read the rest of the zine, and I was like, this is fucking terrible. And the honest truth, my work, my horror stories fit perfectly. Horror is garbage, and I didn't do it well. That was me laughing about the teacher. Yeah, no, I knew I was wrong as soon as I saw it, because it's like, Ray's not mean, Ray's nice. Yeah, YouTube is 20 seconds behind, and Twitch also, apparently. So, I don't know. All I know for sure is I'm having fun, and I'm glad you guys are having fun, and I'm glad you're not laughing at the heartfelt moments. Like, that would be terrible. I think it's time for me to play some more music and have a quick smoke break. So I stopped it before the Legitimate Businessman Social Club. Those guys are rad as all hell, and they were a band from Red Deer or Medicine Hat or something. So I'm gonna play that song "Sunday Fucking Evening" by them, and I think I'm gonna play. I should play some. You know what? I'm going to call my own kind of number, and I'm going to play a song by Painted Glass, which is several of the people who I play in Bodies of Everest used to be in Painted Glass. So I'm going to play Sunday Fucking Evening by the Legitimate Businessman Social Club, and then Q1-85 by Painted Glass while I go for a smoke, and I will be right back.
Try me, to the cellar, the attic, go downtown and the audience night. Everybody, 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 take Sunday. Fuck it.
Oh shit, that's the end of the song. I better fucking stop the next track because I don't know what it is. Oh, it just stopped on its own. Wow, technology. Okay. Don't need these anymore. I tell ya, Pilgrim. All right. Hey, that was a fine opportunity for me to step outside and inhale carcinogens like a terrible, terrible monster person would. Because I'm a terrible monster person. All right. Don't smoke. Smoking bad. Smoking very bad. I quit for 8 years. I quit for 8 fucking years. And then when my marriage fell apart and I was miserable and I had gone through some terrible dating. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna relate the dating story, but I mentioned this earlier, but I'll tell it after I finish this. So I went on a date with a girl, and I felt bad at the end of it because the date actually went well, but I like after as I was walking home, I was like, this is wrong. This is not the right thing for me, and I felt really bad about that, and I ended up, I'm walking home, and a friend of mine it's like 2 a.m. A friend of mine's taking the garbage out, and I was like, hey, and she was like, hey, want to drink margaritas? So I went into her place, and I was in a really dark place, really miserable place, and she was smoking, and I'm looking at her cigarette pack, and I was like, one smoke wouldn't hurt. One smoke. Bullshit. I smoked for years after that. So, yeah. Hoping to quit. But yeah, okay. So after my marriage split up, and I think I've talked about this before, but I had this whole thing where I was trying to figure out how to like, be in the world and like date and stuff. And I was so not ready for that. In fact, I shouldn't have been married in the first place, but I tried. And I had a friend who is still a friend, thankfully, because I didn't screw up too badly, who expressed some interest. And I was just like, hi, I really like you. Oh, we should date. We should be friends. And just bad. Like super fucking clingy, cloying bullshit, terrible. No, that was not right. And then like I did this whole thing in my head with Drake's equation. I think it's called Drake's equation, where the equation is you take all of the known stars and you say, okay, well, we know there's like 400 billion stars. 10% of those, let's just say 10% could theoretically have a planet that supports life. And of those, like 10% actually have a planet that's in a habitable zone. And 10% of those have, and like you narrow it down to the point where you're like, this moment in time, and you still have like thousands of potential planets. So Drake's equation is an argument that there is potentially life on other planets. It's not the only argument. I more subscribe to the rare earth concept, but that's just me. But Drake's equation made a lot of sense to me at the time. So I did that with like the population of the city, and I was like, okay, there's like 1 million people here, and like half of them are women, so that's like 500,000, and like, okay, so let's just say that like 20% of those would be in a suitable age range for me to be dating, and like, okay, well, of those, like, probably like, let's say 50% are married or in like long-term, and I broke it down like, people who would not be interested in me, people who, were not attracted to my gender, that kind of thing. And I ended up with like 23 was the number. I remember it being 23. And then having this like, oh no, I will never find love ever. And just fucking freaked out. And so I was a fucking handful at the time. Every time someone was remotely interested in my head, I was like, this is one of the 23, don't fuck this up. And then immediately proceeded to fuck it up. Now I'm cool. Now I've learned some stuff. And the way that I did that was a girl who I wasn't thinking in terms of like we're gonna have a long-term loving relationship. I hadn't even considered that. She wanted to get together and go to a show, and I was like, yeah, sure. And she came over for dinner first, and I was like, is this a date? I don't think it's a date. It's probably not a date. We're good. And then she made it very like overt, like, oh yes, and we will be having sex later. And I was like, holy shit. And we did, and it was fine. And I was like, I'm gonna be okay. I can be like, things are gonna be all right. And it was a huge load off. So I'm not saying everyone should just run out and have sex with random people, but it worked for me. The more interesting question is whether that life is intelligent or not, and how different from us. Well, that's all part of Drake's equation. Is the idea that like some of that life, one of the calculations along the road is to say like some of those could have a intelligent form of life of some kind, and Drake's equation goes into like, and another small fraction of that is going to be that of the potential for having life that was intelligent, that has it right now, as opposed to the 4.5 billion years previous that we have not been aware of. So it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. There's actually a series that came out. I can't remember the name of it. It was around the same time as like David Attenborough's Planet Earth series came out. I think it was just called I don't know. But it talked about the rare earth theory and the idea that, in order for the earth to have life, there are certain key things that we know of that need to be in place. So they talked about volcanoes, and they talked about the resulting effect on tides and the warming of water. And they talked about, our distance from the sun, all these different things. And they used gorgeous footage to highlight all of these things. And the final episode was actually explaining that the rare earth theory is in opposition to Drake's equation. And it basically says that the earth is rare because all of these things had to be in play in order for that one fluke spark to begin. The primordial ooze creating RNA, and that RNA evolving over strange billions and billions of years into single-celled organisms, and then into multi-celled organisms with all sorts of the Goldilocks cell, all sorts of different capabilities for knowing that there is light, knowing that there is not light, and that light is where food tends to be. Especially like when I became an atheist. Someone, the Deviled Eggy 08 is now following. Thank you, Deviled Eggy 08. That's the first time I think I've noticed. It might be the first time it's happened, but that was the first time I've noticed the little cartoon zombie guy, which is new because I just figured out that I had the wrong OBS and stuff. Hi, Sarah. Oh, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. How are you? I'm assuming that means Sarah. I don't know how to. Oh no, it's. I think from the avatar, that's Abby's friend Sarah. Am I correct? Yeah, you're from Discord. Yes, that's Abby's friend Sarah. Hi, Sarah. It's good to have you here. Yeah. Oh man, it says Abby Sarah, but I'm pretty sure that because of lag, I came to that decision just before that popped up. So in their experience, it'll be like, it's me, it's Sarah, Abby Sarah. And then like 20 seconds later, we're like, oh, Abby Sarah. Where was I? I was talking about, so when I became an atheist, I really got interested in science. And it was because I was a dick atheist. I was that guy that was a pain in the ass, constantly bitching about, the goddamn world is tough, and I think that it's wrong that people are religious and stuff. And I know I was a pain in the ass. But it worked for me. But I really got interested in a lot of the science stuff that I was reading. Not on a deep level, like I'm not a scientist and I don't have a huge breadth of knowledge of all that stuff. But I found it fascinating to read things like, Carl Sagan, phenomenal. I watched all of Cosmos with, I was at the time, when I watched it, I was living with Karina and her son Demon, who many of you will know. And we watched Cosmos together, the original OG Carl Sagan Cosmos, and I love that. So I was watching a lot of science stuff, and particularly around like the origin of life. And there was a book I read, and they actually made a series out of it. I didn't actually watch the series, but this book is called Your Inner Fish. And if you're curious about evolution and you don't know much about it, I strongly recommend this book. It's written by the researcher who found Tiktaalik, and I'm probably saying that wrong, but I don't know how to play the music, but I love it. I don't know how to do science, but I love it. Exactly. We don't have to be fucking, prodigies in order to really enjoy stuff. So the guy who wrote who wrote the book found Tiktaalik. Tiktaalik is a transitional fossil, and he talks in the book. There's sort of two main thrusts of the book. The first is the explaining how he came to be where he was, and that was he was a fish guy. He was a scientist who studied fish and knew a lot about fish. And he was teaching in a university, and they made him do a intro to surgery cadaver lab course. And he was not stoked on this because he doesn't know humans. He knows, anatomy somewhat transposes, but he was a fish guy. And holy crap, someone just donated money. I fucking love you. I'd save your brain in a computer and use it to recall factoids or something. You can save my brain. I will absolutely for $2 it's yours. Sold. Anyways, so he had to teach this cadaver lab, and he wasn't expecting to really enjoy it, and it blew his mind because he was seeing the relationship between all of these different anatomies. Like, so he's looking at the human hand and able to see how the evolutionary differences that came from where his field of expertise with fish and their fins and shoulders and all the nature of life having those common ancestors. Like, we always hear humans evolved from monkeys, which is not entirely the way to go, but it's a way to explain it. But humans also have a common ancestor to carrots. That's something that kind of blows your mind when you think about it. Obviously a lot farther back than monkeys, but because we started with one point and came from that, we all can trace our ancestry back to that one point. And that includes everything that is alive, because at some point, DNA became a thing. Anyways, so he was looking at the bones of the hand and being blown away at the correlation with the bones in horses' feet and the way that they fused, and a completely different evolutionary advantage that came from that. And he was talking about the fish and fins and the way that there's structures within fins that correlate, and that's what got him thinking a lot about the evolution side of what he was an expert on. And so he started thinking about that point when humans and fish would have diverged, and really that comes back to the first fish climbing out of the ocean. And he did research, and so it's not that the fish climbed out of the ocean. We have this sort of dumb image in our head of like, one day a fish was like, I bet land's awesome, and just flops up on lands like, my kids are gonna have legs. That's not how this worked. But what the actual scientific theory has always been is that it started with the need for food. So, or more accurately, the need for safety. So, the waters near the shore are oxygen poor, not a lot of oxygen, but they are, if you're a small fish, you can thrive there. And at the time, most fish were great big bastard motherfuckers out in the ocean doing great big bastard motherfucker things. And little fish could just thrive in coastal waters because nothing was able to go there to eat them. And so the essentially, it's not one of the things we do wrong with evolution is we think that there's like a cause and effect, where it's more like an effect and cause. So over, evolutionary time, animals would have wanted to get at the delicious foodstuffs that were out of reach, and some of them would have some kind of an adaptation that might make that a little bit easier. And shoulders was one of them, and the ability to get oxygen out of the air. So if you were a big fish and you couldn't go in this water, imagine if suddenly you found out that you had this capacity to, to like take gulps of air out of the environment above you and use that to survive. That's not a difficult thing to imagine accidentally happening, and then that allows you to use that evolutionary advantage to your benefit and say, oh, well, you know what? If I can do this, maybe I can eat the tasty food. Maybe I can go closer into the, into the coastal areas. And the development of shoulders allowed for fish to move forward in tiny little, squishy spaces where there's not a lot of water to swim in, and you're bumped against the ground. If you had fins that you could push with, you could move better. So these two unrelated to anything changes allowed certain animals that had these evolutionary traits to more effectively get food. And by more effectively getting food, they're more effectively able to survive, more effectively able to reproduce and pass on those weird mutant genes. So this proto earth walking thing wouldn't have been walking on the earth, but it would have been a large fish that was able to gulp air or what have you, and use shoulders to do things like lift its mouth above the water, or however that worked. So he theorized how he would find this and prove it. And what he did was he took a map of what we believe the Earth looked like around the time that we would expect this to have happened, 500 million years ago or whatever the fuck. My live video got interrupted on Facebook. Oh well. Hopefully it's not interrupted everywhere else. Anyways, he took a map of what we believe the continents looked like at the time, and extrapolated based on, where would the coastal waters would have been, where there would have been warmth for animals to, survive in that water, where there would have been the right conditions for fossilization of fish, because obviously not everything, if it's a rocky outcrop, you're not gonna have fossils. And what he determined was, working with a team, I believe, they theorized, they found a section of Nunavut where they were like, this is our best bet. And they went looking for fossils. And at some point on their journey, they found like 13 perfectly preserved, because of the circumstances, fossils that fit the time frame and that would have been a transitional animal that's very similar to what they had predicted. So it's an interesting book because it also talks about the science, but also the curiosity and how they would go about theorizing where and how they found these things. And they named it Tiktaalik based on working with the Nunavut people. And I don't recall for the life of me what it means. Probably like fish with feet or some shit. But yeah, true story. Fascinating. This is the kind of nerd shit that my brain eats up. And certainly, like, when I hit that atheism phase and no longer had the comfort in pretending, and as prior to that, I was definitely pretending faith. But I no longer had that faith that there was a ready answer to what the purpose of the universe was and stuff. So I totally sucked myself into learning about the science of things, and it was a super cool experience. Did I lose everybody? I'm just talking about science like a fucking nerd for a while, and I hope that didn't bore the crap out of everybody. I can talk about like butts or something, No one wants to hear me talk about butts. I'll talk about it scientifically. Like, in order to make a butt, one must have a lot of carbon. No, that's probably not how we're going to do things. Yeah, this is like 2.5 hours. I've been just babbling with you guys, and I've enjoyed it like completely. I hope that you guys are too. And yeah, I'm stoked that this worked. I really am glad. Thank you for the support. If I look at I have a whole tab thing somewhere that'll tell me like details and things. So let's see. According to this, I got $2 in donation revenue, which is fucking awesome. My subscribers did not change. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to subscribe. And I don't see anything else on there, so yeah, I don't know. It's not perfect information for what I'm looking for, but I don't know. I hope that this has been fun. Oh, I see there's stuff. You're enjoying Abby. And Sugar says Indigenous people have asked these stories, but no one believes them until a white guy writes it down. Of course, that's what the world is. Unfortunately, people who know things and who pass along stories. It works if your skin happens to be honky, but if you're not honky, like how could you possibly know anything, right? This is like, it's one of the things about honkiness that really pisses me off is our intense historic arrogance and current arrogance. Like, don't get me wrong, but our historic arrogance, things like, I was writing a thing about sex workers the other day, and I don't know if I'm going to turn it into a thing or not, because I kind of hit a point where I was like, am I even adding anything to the conversation or not? But I was thinking about the concept of the white man's burden. And I don't know, like, I'm assuming most people know what that means, but I'm just going to explain anyways. Once upon a time, colonial white folks were like, oh, our job is to, hang on, I got to give smoke to a teenager. It's cool, I know him. It's okay, don't worry about it. Our job as colonizers is to help the poor savages of the world to be raised up to our incredible civilized heights, and show them the benefits of how the world ought to be, because we were arrogant pricks. And that's like, I could see how at the time, from that position of stupid arrogance, people could be like, oh, what a lovely gesture. But what an awful gesture. What a terrible way to view the world and to assume your own superiority. So we still do that. I still do that. I try really hard not to, but I'm human and I grew up as a honky, so it's really hard for me not to, think like a honky. And I do feel like we've come a long way, but I feel like not all of us have, and we got a long way to go. I've got a long way to go. I'm trying, but I'm human. And hopefully, we get to a place where this silly, nonsensical thing, this social construct called race, doesn't limit us anymore. And doesn't immediately take away from, depending on what race you happen to be. I think that's just... I got another anonymous donated... Did I see that right? $16.03 because they are rad. Thank you, anonymous. That's fucking awesome. That's why when we do outreach, we say meet them where they are. Totally. I was very lucky to have people who allowed me to be dumb and saw within me, when I was learning more and more, that I was a good person and that I would, continue to learn and continue to do better, and that I was worth the time to help educate. Because, you know, I came from Calgary. I came from a place where, I was raised in a school that told me essentially the noble savage bullshit. And I was taught by the world around me that Indigenous people, they were all alcoholics and they were all bad people. They weren't bad people, but, they were bad people. And that, honestly, it's embarrassing and it breaks my heart to know that that's how I lived and that's how I understood the world. I have been so fucking lucky to make, through the music community, to make friends with some just phenomenal human beings of all, well, let's not say all stripes. Like the music community is pretty fucking honky, at least the punk and metal one. But I've met some fantastic people who have really made me question some of the things that, even as like a progressive person, I still have biases. I still have things in my head that are wrong and stupid. And when I see them, I can question them because I had people who were kind enough to, lead me in that direction and help me to understand that maybe I was wrong and stupid and maybe I could do better. I think it's very reasonable for me to give my biggest of props to Carlin Black Rabbit. That man is a fucking gem, and I love him with all my heart. I love all of his music projects. Norm, Many Heads. In fact, the first Johnny Incognito show ever was we played immediately before Abortion Grenade, which was Norm's band with Jarence and Jeff, and like knowing those people has made me so much better a person and so much opened me up to so many other ways that I need to be a better person. So, I don't know where I was going with this. I feel like we all have a lot of growth to do, and hopefully we do it. Hopefully we allow ourselves the opportunity. Similarly, everyone can get better. And I don't think I started off terrible. I don't think that I, was a monster person, but I certainly, have had the luxury of knowing the right people to help me grow and to help me just be a better me. As an Indigenous woman, I have a lot of bias. I challenge them all the time. Totally. I think that's, as a human, we have a lot of bias, right? I was talking with my kid last night, and he was saying something to the effect of, I don't even remember what we were talking about, but I mentioned, was it with my kid? I don't know. I mentioned the movie JFK and the scene where Walter Matthau's character looks at Kevin Costner and he's like, "How do you know the sky is blue? Because your mama told you it was." And that's true. That's the world, right? We start learning as children, and we have this dumb idea that we're somehow going to stop learning and stop improving when we graduate college or graduate high school or graduate elementary school or whatever the fuck. Yeah, that's our job as progressive humans to lead each other. And hopefully, I hope that I can be there to help some of my people out, learning to do them better. Maybe that's arrogant. I don't know. I've been arrogant before. It's happened. Yeah. God, this has been phenomenally fun for me. And yeah, I'm really glad I did this. I'm really stoked. Again, I wanna plug the idea that a lot of I'm gonna do this live stream every Saturday because Twitch wants you to follow a schedule. Now that I'm a super Twitch user with super Twitch powers, I'm gonna do that, and I'm going to try. I think I'll probably do it in a couple of weeks where it'll be. The whole purpose of the stream will be a fundraiser for Bear Clan Patrol, just so that I can iron out any quirks or whatever, figure out how all of this works, and then for when I do those streams, any people sending tips, that money will be directly shunted over to the great folks at Bear Clan Patrol, or if I had another group that I was working for. But Bear Clan is always the top of my mind because of the work they do. And yeah, I want the world to be a better place, and I want, it's probably self-aggrandizing to think I can be a part of that, but maybe I can point some people in some interesting directions along the way, and also talk about how cool Falcon and the Winter Soldier was, because it was cool. It was so cool. That last episode, I'm not going to spoil anything, but like the giddy Marvel nerd in me, the read comic books all his life, like just about peed his pants. Just about peed his pants. Probably peed his pants a little bit. Just a little, like, no judgments, right? Like, I mean, yeah, it was so good. I'm kind of at the point where I don't know what to say, so I'm gonna just sort of turn it over to you guys, and I have to check my Twitch bits every day. Apparently, you can earn freelance. Even just saying Twitch bits makes me feel dirty. Like, you want to see me Twitch bits, baby? But it's probably not dirty. I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna like let's do, it's 2:43. Not the time. That's how long I've been doing this. I'm just gonna open it up if people have questions or anything or whatever. I'm gonna be just here to respond, and I'm gonna drink my beer. And I will happily, anything you guys want to talk about, I'll wide open for whatever. As I promised, I will be honest and verbose. So if anyone has questions, otherwise you can watch me drink a beer. And it's a lucky lager, which means it's delightful. I do, while I'm taking this moment, I do want to say thank you for all of you guys watching. A huge thanks, obviously, to Shithead Dave for being my patron on Patreon. Also, I feel like I can look at who did the things with the donations. If I click on this, and it says I got 2 donations, and does it tell me who? Shitty, which I believe is Shithead Dave, and Anonymous, who said love ya. I hope Anonymous. Oh, it's $20. I think it came back in like American funds or something. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, so to those of you that did that, thank you so fucking much. And it's little things like that just make me know that I'm doing stuff. Do you think you might want to come out on the 5th and tie ribbons on trees? I do think I want that. The challenge is the 5th is like a Tuesday or something, isn't it? Because I will. They're like I work from home. I believe the timing was like noonish, right? If I can work that, and I don't mind like booking some time off of work to step away so that I can help, because I feel like that's something that I can do to help and also sort of contain my potential exposure to ugly viruses. And for those that are watching, on the 5th, May 5th, the Indigenous people in general and Bear Clan are going to be doing tying ribbons and around trees or on trees and hanging red dresses. Again, if you have a red dress that you'd like to donate, talk to La Corazon or Bear Clan Patrol. It's a missing and murdered Indigenous women and Two-Spirit. There's a women, girls, and Two Spirits. That's it. Sorry, I'm learning. But it's a awareness thing for them. So sort of throughout the city, we'll be having ribbons tied around trees and red dresses just displayed on trees and things. I didn't know what that was, and then I was walking home from work. I think it was a couple of years ago, and Sate had a whole bunch of red dresses up, and I was like, that's got to be a thing. That's got to be a thing. And I did a little Googling, and I found out, and I was like, that's fucking rad. So yes, the answer to your question, Ray, is yes, assuming that I don't have something work-wise that I can't get out of, which does happen. You can also do it in your own neighborhood and sign up as neighbors or neighborhood captain. I will. That might be the best way for me, because the fact that I am working, I might be able to just find a window where I can go around my neighborhood and tie some ribbons or what have you. So yeah, I am definitely interested. I'll talk to Le Corazon and get any details, and that will be cool, because I definitely that's an important movement, and I hope that more and more people take it seriously and see the whole concept of what am I trying to say? Like, I'm so worried that I'm going to say something stupid like, turns out murdering and missing Indigenous women is like bad, but it's bad, and we want to raise awareness of the fact that it happens far more than it should. Indigenous women in Canada are probably like everywhere, but Indigenous women in Canada are at risk. The world, they're struggling, and they're going missing, and whether it's work camps or killers or fucking cops, it's not fucking okay. How do I don't even know how to say, but it's happening far too much, and that's the purpose of that movement, is to raise awareness of the fact that this isn't okay. We know it's not okay, but why is it happening? And we gotta do better. Memorial and awareness, absolutely. There's obviously the memorial of the fact that the women who were missing or who are murdered, they have loved ones, and this they are part of a community, and they were loved in their lives and shouldn't be forgotten. So to me, that's a really important message and a really important thing, and us as honkies, we ought to be caring about it and doing what we can to raise that awareness and help elevate voices. 10K more likely than other women, yeah, or 10 times more likely than other women, yeah. And that's the thing, where we talk about systemic racism and honkies go, oh, it's not a real thing. No, it's a real thing, and that's an example. Indigenous women are 10 times more likely to be killed or go missing than any other race of women. That doesn't mean that society prescribes laws that say Indigenous women have to be murdered or taken or whatever. Not what the point of the word systemic racism is. What it means is our system, the whole system, not just government, not just law, our system isn't doing its job in valuing human life when it happens to be Indigenous and female. And the people who can fix that are us. And the people who aren't going to fix that are the people who are in power, because they don't have an impetus to do so. So, and they only make up 4% of the population. Not okay. Not fucking okay at all. Am I missing any other chat stuff? Okay, cool. I'm not. I just realized I didn't have one of the windows open. We gotta do better. We gotta find ways to improve the world we live in, and improve the caring and the awareness in the world we live in, so that these things aren't happening. Because, I'm not saying that no one should ever be murdered, because that's just not real. What I'm saying is that when you have 4% of the population being 10 times more likely to be killed or taken, that proves that something isn't right, and something systemically needs to change. And yeah, I'm stumbling because I don't know what the fuck I'm a honky, and I always hate when as a honky I try to speak for other people because I don't feel like my voice is the one that should be heard. It's their voice. Sugar in the chat, Sugar Shameless, is an Indigenous woman that I know, and her voice should be heard over mine on this issue. And I'm the one I can amplify, like you say, but it shouldn't need a honky dude to say shit for it to be taken seriously. So you said thank you, Sugar. Thank you, because you have also been one of those voices that has been kind and patient with me as I've grown as a person, and I love you and I appreciate you for it. Beer. Well, it's almost 3 hours. I think I'm gonna play a song and then we'll call it. I hope the playing music thing is fun for you guys. I'll just sit here and bob my head along and be all cool like that. And I got to figure out what I want the last song of the podcast to be. I've played, I played some punk, I played some prog, I played some rockabilly, I played some whatever Hail Damage was. I feel, you know what, I'm going to play some Verbal Deception to close things out. Verbal Deception is a long ago band from a faraway time. They were phenomenal. They were one of the first bands that I worked really closely with. And we played a lot of shows together, them and us and Caveat and Tempered, those and Sufferance. Those bands we played all the time. And Verbal Deception was like pirate metal, and I thoroughly love them. So I'm going to play, what song will I play? I'll play Halls of Illusion, which was sort of like their primary big tune. And then from that, I will end the stream. And I just, again, thank you guys. Thank you, Dave, for being my patron. Thank you, people who donated. Thank you, all of you, for just engaging with me and having a fun 3-hour-long conversation. I had a great time. I hope you did too. And we will do it again next week. All right. No Verbal Deception.
Walking through the halls
So that's gonna be it for 3 hours and 5 minutes later. I think I've done what I needed to do, and I just want to say thank you guys for hanging out with me and watching. And yeah, we'll do this again next week.